It is Saturday the 23rd of November. So I've just been stocking up my inventory. I've been trying to figure out my signage. So I have the craft fair next weekend. Okay, so this is my pencil drawing stencil sign. I haven't wood burned it. I figure I need to actually sand it down and then I'll have to stencil it again, but it was a good first go and see if I like it. So I've been trying to play with the wood burning tool, but you can obviously see all the grain lines. So when I was watching a video, she recommended sanding everything first so it's all nice and smooth. I was also going too far deep into it, so I don't have any attachment to it right now, but she's like talking about not engraving it, but putting the lines through. I just wanted to show you some of the thrift store finds that I've found. I'm trying to educate myself on older methods of what we used before. We used single-use plastic and used low-waste items. So I found this. It's an educational handbook, and when you actually look through it, it's talking about dimensions and squares and color diagrams and just kind of going through that and seeing what that is. This is a cheese press, not related to, not doing food right now, but just so I picked that up because you don't find them that often. This is an old Sears catalog from the 1923, so I wanted to have a flip through. Got some amazing pictures and seeing what was interesting, the prices, but also then seeing what items they were using, and lots of clothes and garments and stuff. Alright, it is November, the last week of November. It's Monday, and I have my next market on Friday and Saturday. It's a Friday night market again, and then Saturday. So this is my third market I'll be attending. So you're probably wondering what this is. So this is my solution to gift giving. So this is just a piece of driftwood and I've put some eyelets to it. I got these stamps made, so on my items I don't have any individual tags on them, because if you're giving it to yourself you really don't need a tag of what it is. My brother suggested having something, so if you're giving it as a gift and people aren't on the eco-friendly journey or don't know what it is or having to educate it, then they can stamp their own tag onto it. And I use some cord. I was thinking about using chain, but sometimes chain can get really messy. So I just used some black cord. So here I have like a tea bag, bread bag, and then on this side I have the material that's used. So I just realized I probably also need care instructions, like for the makeup wipes. I sometimes tell people, but sometimes I forget because I'm caught up with a lot of stuff, is to use water before you use the makeup wipe. So if you're using, like, say, witch hazel, then you would use water on the makeup wipe and then put your witch hazel, and it'll work a lot better. So just having some of those care instructions on there would be great. Put it on my table and not lose any of them. So today is Wednesday. My market is on Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to show you these shower curtain hooks that I found. I'm going to be using them to display some of my products on the rack. So it's got two of them. Got a giant amount of tea bags that I've just sewn up. So these are the reusable tea bags. And you just fold those over. Can't really do it with one hand, but you get the gist. I also just got Wonderful thread. I also wanted to show you, they sent me this calendar and it's kind of hilarious. So this calendar has things like visit your local quilt shop day. So that's January 25th. And just like really weird sewing days, like this is quilting day. This is in March. Really nice inspiration. Hopefully I'll be able to get to that point of embroidery, but you know, so really nice calendar that they sent me with my order. I was running out of the confetti thread in the cone for my serger, so I needed to order more, and I thought I would, pick up some of these. lovely embroidery thread. So it's Thursday night. I have the market tomorrow. It starts at 5. I get to sit up at 3. So I just finished these. They clip down and you can put your cutlery in it. You could store chopsticks, or you could do a toothbrush or anything like that. They're long travel cases, so made with linen, and now I'm just getting packed up and ready to go. Definitely not feeling as rushed as the first market or the second market. So I'm just packing up. Everything's fitting into this suitcase still, which is good. And then I have another bag I put the random stuff into, like the hooks and everything. It's growing though, and I had to sit on my suitcase last time to close it. So it is market day today, and I just did this morning. I just used a permanent silver tip marker and a stencil. I'm not super in love with this. I was hoping to get .com, but I misjudged how wide it is. And also it's a little bit shiny. I was thinking about using black, but the black really bled. And even when I was trying, I was thinking, oh, maybe I can do like a black around it to make it more stand out, but I don't like it how it bleeds so much. So I think it's just the type of marker or something, because this one did not have that effect, though it started off really nice, and then by the time it got down to here and here, it doesn't look as nice, but it is what it is. So I got 3 of the planks, and I was using the wood burning one and just to practice on, and it's one of the nicer ones, so I can't use that in the other one. This one has a big knot in it, so if I would burn it later on, I can use the other side, though the other side says cedar on it. I can use the other side and do it, but I don't know how this knot would do. But my wood burning techniques are not great at all. But it's a work in progress, because I was trying to, I guess, engrave it, and it got like that, so we're not trying to engrave it. But I was also watching some other videos. They use a completely different tip than the inexpensive wood burning kits you can buy. So it's actually like a really fine tip, and then you're just lightly, like you can shade with it. So I just don't think I'm nowhere close. So I'm just packing up my car. It starts at 5 o'clock. I'm gonna get there. They only open the doors at 3 o'clock. There's gonna be 80 plus vendors, so it's gonna be more stress just to get everybody in, unloaded, and everything like that. I'm not as panicking as I usually am. Usually I'm trying to get everything done. This morning I went to the thrift store because they had a Black Friday, bought their boutique stuff, so I just kind of had a chill day of getting everything together. Usually I'm really rushed, so I feel like I should be panicking that I'm not panicking. So this is my setup for the clothing rack. It folds down, and these pieces all come apart except the middle one. So I needed something, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to buy a strap. And it was kind of come the realization, like, now you have all the materials. So it was really nice just to make that, and just kind of be like, oh, I don't actually need to buy as much as I actually think I need to. I can just make it. So it's coming to that realization that you can make just about anything if you really want to. So instead of the buying mode, the buying mentality, the buying teaching, basically is what it is. We've been taught to buy, is that we go back to the things that we can make. Okay, so I brought my table with me. I was looking at those dimensions of the clothing rack. It's not going to fit unless the table is smaller than the clothing rack. So I hate being that vendor, because it's my fault, because I'm not planning it. They've probably already set out a table for me, and now I'm like, hey, can I put the table back? I hate being one of those people, but it's just gonna have to work that way. I don't know. I need that clothing rack to hang all the stuff up, and it's just gonna be so much stuff on the table if I don't have it. So I'm just making that decision. I put the table in the car, I put my side table in the car, and I just need that. So I just hate being one of those people, because there's 80 plus vendors at this thing, and if everyone has an issue or do something at the last minute, like I could have emailed them, a couple days ago and be like, hey, don't set up a table for me, and that's all I needed to do, but of course I didn't do it. So, ugh. my car because it's quite chilly, just trying to get it to warm up. I'm running a little bit late, so this is the second day, which is the Saturday from 10 to 4. Yesterday was good. It was a little bit slow. It was definitely slow near the end. It was also Black Friday on the Friday, so it was, I think, a lot of people at the malls, but we did have a lot of people come in, and it was really nice to meet with everyone. I sold some of the travel cases, which was really nice, and some of the scrubs and the bamboo face cloths. The people behind me were selling the beeswax wraps, and those have been really popular in our area. So much so that I think there was like 3 vendors there that were selling beeswax wraps. So it's 2 days after the market. Yesterday I felt so burnt out and so tired that I just took kind of a personal day. I did some inventory counting and I finished some stocks and stuff and just kind of took a break from everything. Today I'm still feeling a bit sluggish. I think I was really dehydrated on the weekend, and then also with the fluorescent lights in the gym, it made it really hard. I haven't really been in fluorescent light situation for a long time, so having a full day of that was pretty hard on the body. It was nice. My sister came with her husband on the second day, and so they brought me food, which was awesome because I wasn't able really to get away from my booth too much. So the things that sold really well were the tea bags, the bamboo face cloths, the produce bags, and the unscrubs and the makeup removers. So people were giving them as gifts, giving them for themselves, and a lot of the other stuff had some sales, but not as much. I did sell a lot of scrunchies, so I was worried about how many vendors were there, and that's my own personal issue. And I was thinking, oh man, they're gonna have so many choices, there's so many talented people, it's gonna be really hard. And that was kind of like my first fear when I came, because there's probably 80 booths in one room and maybe like 60 in another. So I was chatting with another vendor, and it was really great because she was just like, there's so many talented people, they all have unique things, but there's enough for everybody to go around. Like, she just wasn't worried. She wasn't like, hey, like, stop being so negative, but she was just, everyone, there's enough creativity and there's enough people buying this stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, you're totally right. So I think it's coming from, I used to do farmers markets and where I was selling produce, and because it's somebody's livelihood, they're a little bit competitive because they're a lot of times selling all the same product, and people are buying from you because they like you a lot of the times, rather than your product is unique and creative and different, which you can be more crafty with when you have crafts. I think that's where I was stopping myself and kind of worrying about it. It's just all those mental barriers. Like, even when my first market, I was like, oh man, what if no one buys from me? And you have that panic. I just really had to create my mental mentality. Okay, let's go for it. And if you don't sell anything, then you've had a great time at the music festival. If you did, it's an extra bonus. And then I had my first craft fair. It went super well. So it was just that mental mentality of getting over myself and my own barriers and my own preconceived ideas of what I'm doing or what my products should be. So a lot of times it's just a mental mind game. It was just a really fun event. I have one more market booked for December, so that's going to be next week. Then I don't actually have anything booked, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to. So I'm just going to take my time with it. I am feeling quite burnt out, so I don't know if it's also just like the change of the season, or just need a little bit of R&R just to restore my priorities and maybe have some more social time. I do like to do markets because I get a lot of feedback and people saying, hey, you should create this because I'm not able to find this. And I use a single-use plastic for this thing all the time. So I have way more ideas than time, but it's a continuous progress and evolution of what we can create and what we can put out there.